The last year had been a whirlwind of growth for her. National Youth Service Corps (Nysc) had been difficult, but she had done well. Her job offer was finally secured. Yet, there was a feeling growing in her heart, something she couldn't ignore any longer. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through the messages. His name was at the top, Chijioke, the man who had been by her side through it all. He had supported her through university, helping her with assignments when she was too tired, listening to her vent about the pressure of school, and standing by her side through the NYSC assignments in the village. But now, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was no longer where he was. The call rang twice before he picked up. "Hey babe, how's everything?" Chijioke's voice was warm, filled with that same familiar comfort. I should have made her smile, but instead, a heavy lump formed in her throat. "I got the job offer today," she said, trying to sound as casual as possible. "That's amazing." Chijioke's voice was full of pride, the joy evident even through the phone. "I knew you would get it, Nneka." But Nneka didn't feel the same joy. The excitement of the moment felt hollow. She had worked hard for this job, but now that it was here, it only made her realize how much she had changed during her time away from him. "I think we need to talk," she said, her voice softer now. The silence on the other end of the line was almost suffocating. "Talk about what?" Chijioke asked, the concern in his voice obvious. Nneka took a deep breath, her fingers trembling as she clutched the phone. "Chijioke, I have been thinking a lot. About us. About everything. I don't think I can do this anymore." Chijioke was silent for what felt like an eternity. Then, a soft chuckle escaped him. "What do you mean? We have been through everything together." "Nneka, you can't be serious." "I am," Nneka whispered, feeling the weight of every word. "I think we have outgrown each other." Chijioke's voice dropped, a sharp edge of disbelief cutting through his words. "What do you mean outgrown? You are talking like we are not the same people we were when we met." "I have supported you, Nneka. I have always been there for you." Nneka's chest tightened as she spoke the words that had been echoing in her mind for weeks. "I know you have done so much for me, but I have changed, Chijioke. I have got a future now, and I don't think our paths are the same anymore. You are still on the farm, living the same way. I'm moving on, and I need someone who is on the same level as me." There was a long pause. Nneka could feel the sharpness of the silence, a knife cutting through the connection between them. She closed her eyes, the weight of her decision settling deep within her. "I don't understand, Nneka," Chijioke finally said, his voice a mix of hurt and confusion. "How is it that I have done all this for you, and now you're telling me I'm not good enough?" Her heart broke as she heard the pain in his voice, but she steeled herself. "I am sorry, Chijioke. I can't keep pretending. You deserve someone who fits your life, and I deserve someone who fits mine." The phone went silent again, and Nneka felt as though the ground beneath her had just collapsed. She had let him go. The next few weeks felt like a blur. Nneka moved into her new job with focus and determination, but the space where Chijioke once was in her life felt emptier than she had anticipated. She threw herself into her work, excelling at the task given to her, building connections with her colleagues, and providing her worth. But every time she glanced at her phone, every time she saw a message from Chijioke, the guilt gnawed at her. She had left him, and for what? A better job? A future? Her mind wrestled with the memories of their time together, those simple yet profound moments. where he had cared for her when no one else did. Chijioke had never been wealthy. He had been a farmer, a simple man with big dreams, but little in the way of financial stability. His hands were withered from years of labor, but his heart had always been soft and caring. Yet, Nneka had never wanted to feel tied down. She had longed for more than the village life, more than the farm. She had wanted to see the world, to rise above the limitations of her background. But was it worth losing him over? She stood in front of the mirror one evening, brushing her hair as she tried to avoid looking at the phone on the counter. It buzzed again. Another message from Chijioke. "Are you okay, Nneka?" It read. "I've been thinking about you. I don't think I will ever understand why you left, but I will always care." Her breath caught in her throat. How could she have been so cruel? How could she have walked away from someone who had loved her unconditionally? As the weeks passed, Nneka's feeling began to shift. Despite all her efforts to move on, she couldn't escape the gnawing feeling of regret. She thought about Chijioke every day, about the life they could have had, the life he had offered her. She had been so quick to judge him, to think she deserved better, but now she wasn't so sure. Nneka decided she needed closure. She needed to see Chijioke one last time, to explain herself, to apologize, and to let him know that even though things had ended, she would always remember their time together. She sent him a message. "Can we meet? Just to talk." The response came quickly. "I'm not sure I'm ready, Nneka, but I'll be here." Nneka's heart raced as she packed her bag and prepared to drive out to the farm. She had no idea what to expect when she arrived. Would he be angry? Would he even want to see her? The drive felt longer than Nneka remembered. The road that once seemed so familiar now felt foreign under the tires of her car. It was as though the very air had shifted in the months since she left. The weight of her decision pressed on her chest, making each breath feel like a struggle. She had spent days debating whether to make this trip. After all, Chijioke had told her he would be there. But what did that mean? Was he simply being polite? Or was there still a part of him that wanted her back? The hope she had carefully nurtured over the last few weeks seemed to grow stronger with each passing mile, but it was accompanied by a nagging voice reminding her of the hurt she had caused. As she turned off the main road and onto the dirt path leading to the farm, memories of their time together flooded her mind. The laughter they shared on quiet evenings, the long walks to the river, and the way his hands had felt when he had held hers. But now, all she had was his uncertainty about his feelings, about whether she could ever undo the damage she had done. When Nneka arrived at the farm, she saw him standing outside, leaning against a post as though waiting for her. Chijioke still looked the same, his withered face a map of years spent under the sun, his shoulders broad from years of hard work. But there was something in his eyes now, a quiet reserve that wasn't there before. She sparked at the car, hesitating for a moment before stepping out. As soon as she did, Chijioke straightened, his expression unreadable. "You came," he said quietly, his voice carrying a mix of surprise and something deeper. "Hot, maybe." "I need to," Nneka replied, her voice breaking slightly. She wanted to run to him, to wrap her arms around him, to apologize for everything, but she stopped herself. The words she had to say were more important than her impulse to just hold him. They stood there for a long moment, just staring at each other. Neither knew where to begin. "I'm sorry, Chijioke," Nneka said finally. "I'm so sorry for what I did. I was selfish, and I hurt you. I should never have left. But I was scared. I thought I needed more. But now I know I was wrong. I can't stop thinking about you, about us, and what we had. I was foolish." Chijioke's eyes softened for a moment, but then he stepped back slightly. "You were never foolish, Nneka. You were just lost. You didn't know what you wanted, and that's okay. But I am not the same person I was before." Nneka's heart sank at his words. "What do you mean?" He looked away, his jaw tight. "I'm not the same man you left behind. I have changed too, Nneka. I have had to. I have had to learn to live without you, to realize that life doesn't always work out the way we want it to. And that means I have learned how to forgive." Nneka's eyes widened, hope flickering in her chest. "You forgive me?" He nodded, but his face remained serious. "Yes, I forgive you, Nneka. I will always forgive you for what you did. But that doesn't mean things can go back the way they were. You wanted more. You wanted something different. And I can't be that for you anymore." Those words hit Nneka like a blow to the chest. "But Chijioke, I'm here. I'm saying I made a mistake. I want to come back. I want us to be together." He took a deep breath, as though gathering the strength to say the next words. "I know you do, but you can't just come back. It doesn't work like that. Once bitten, twice shy, Nneka. I can forgive you, but that doesn't mean I can forget what you did. It doesn't mean I can trust that you won't leave again when things get hard." The air seemed to freeze around them, and Nneka felt the weight of his words like an anchor sinking deep within her. She had been so focused on fixing her mistake, on getting him back, that she hadn't considered the emotional toll it would have taken on him to have been left behind. "I have moved on, Nneka. I have had to," he continued, his voice steady but tight with sadness. "I have spent months trying to build my life without you, and I can't go back to that place where I feel like I'm just waiting for someone to leave me again. I don't want that, and I don't want to be someone's second choice." Her heart shattered as she realized the truth of his words. She had left him, and in doing so, she had put a crack in something she thought was unbreakable. He wasn't the same person who had stood by her side when she needed him. He was stronger, but also more cautious, protecting his heart from the same pain she had caused him. "I never wanted to hurt you, Chijioke," she whispered, tears threatening to spill down her cheeks. "I didn't think about what it would do to you. I was just so focused on myself, on what I thought I needed. But you were always there. I should have known that." He reached out, but instead of pulling her close, as she had hoped, he simply placed his hand on her shoulder, a soft touch that seemed to carry a world of unspoken emotions. "You weren't ready then, Nneka. Maybe you are now, but it's too late for us. I have moved forward. You should too." The next few days passed in a haze for Nneka. She left the farm with the weight of Chijioke's rejection still heavy on her heart. She couldn't understand why she had pushed him away for life that felt so empty without him in it. The job, the city life, none of it filled the void he had left behind. But she had to respect his decision, no matter how much it hurt. She knew she had caused the pain, and now she had to live with it, with the consequences. Back in the city, she found herself walking through the halls of her office. going through the motions of her new life. But there was no joy in it. She had thought that moving up in the world would fill the emptiness she felt, but it hadn't. The success she had worked too hard for felt hollow without someone to share it with. One evening, as she sat in her apartment scrolling through social media, a message from Chijioke popped up. She almost didn't open it, afraid of what it might say. But curiosity got the better of her, and she clicked on it. Stay safe, Nneka, and remember, you will always have a place in my heart. I just hope one day you find what you're looking for. Nneka's heart clenched in her chest. She had lost him, but she could never lose the part of him that would always remain a part of her. Months passed, and while the ache in Nneka's heart never truly disappeared, she began to understand. Chijioke had been right. She had wanted more, but the more she chased after it, the further she drifted from the only thing that had ever truly made her happy, him. She began visiting the farm more frequently, not to ask for his forgiveness, but to show him that she understood. She would bring him food from the city, ask about his crops, and simply listen to his stories. Slowly, they began to rebuild a friendship born out of pain and loss. But Nneka knew, as did Chijioke, that things could never be the same again. The past had shaped them, and they had both moved on in different ways. Yet, somehow, the bond between them remained unspoken, yet undeniable. As Nneka continues to grow in her career, she learns that sometimes the things you leave behind are the things that teach you the most. But will she find happiness again? Or will the lessons of her past continue to haunt her? The road ahead is uncertain, and the future, as always, is filled with both promise and pain. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Afritaste247 would love to hear from you again. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you don't miss out on our interesting stories. Bye.